That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to what is now officially season 2 of That's a Shame, the podcast. Are we doing a colon on the podcast?
We sure are. Yeah,
is that going on the art? That dog's going to be absolutely covered in writing. I am Declan. Across from me,
Yep.
it's Isaac.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, thank you. Stretching up to God's sky.
Well, he's looking down on you. Now, season 2,
Yes.
that's a big claim.
It's huge.
It's a big claim 3 years in.
It's a big, at a completely random point.
Yeah,
We haven't just hit a milestone.
After a lot of arbitrary pauses,
Yeah.
we decided this one was...
The big one.
Yeah.
Bang.
Now, there are going to be differences.
Uh-huh.
You won't probably have heard any of them just yet.
Do you feel like this is when you're explaining to your little child that daddy's got to go on a special mission to another woman's house? It might be some time. It's like, look, things are going to be a little bit different. Look, we still love you, Mummy and I, but yeah, you're not going to see me for the next year.
Daddy's going to be... He's going to be spending a lot of time in the car.
Don't ask why Daddy's brought his pillow to the sidewalk, okay? That's just something he does.
No, it's a lot more positive than that.
That's true.
This is like Daddy's moving back in.
Oh, okay.
If you liked Daddy.
Yeah. If you don't, then he's not.
Yeah.
We guarantee
If you don't,
that.
He's staying away. If you
we
do...
won't let your nasty dad move in, and that's a shame.
The good thing about our definitive changes is we're not tied to any of them.
Fuck.
We are... How would you describe the changes that we're making?
I would say that... Have you seen that bit in James Bond where there's a big laser? You know the one I mean?
Yeah,
and
I think
it's
so.
going to cut through his penis and testicles. And I don't think it does. I haven't seen the whole film. I don't believe that it does cut through his
Not
his
on screen, at
genitalia.
least.
That may be a deleted scene. I would say that laser, well, it was a very focused beam. And if I could describe the show in one adjective, it would be, the new show that is, focused beam.
Yeah, because
That was
prior
two
to
words. Yeah.
it has been kind of a starburst
Yeah,
effect.
scattershot kind of drivel and nonsense. And some people like that, and indeed we like that. But what we realised ultimately was that when it comes to marketing this show, something which we don't do at all,
No,
and
we
maybe
don't.
we should, but that you guys have been quite good at doing. Lots of people have told a friend about this show.
Yeah,
and
and-
I thought to myself, how do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that? And why have you done that?
And also, like, the main problem with it, well, one of several, is that it was just kind of about nothing.
Yeah, I think that the issue is not necessarily that it was about nothing, but that we didn't choose for it to be about nothing. We were just very lazy and didn't bother to remember to make it about anything.
Yeah. So now, well, we've pivoted in a big way. It's about moths.
It's
only.
good. That's a Moth, season 2.
We'll be listening to some of the fun audio they make.
We are going to be talking about largely the same things.
Yes.
But we're going to make sure that each week we do have a thing to say.
Yeah, because if you think about it, what's the news about? Well, it's about nothing in particular.
No.
And neither is the show, but it has a much more focused and driven approach, and that's what's going to be the hallmark of TAS 2.0.
And the news has been going for ages. That's a train that just won't stop.
And do you know what? Their Patreon, shit. Not worth it. Don't bother.
So you're going to hear maybe some new audio cues.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to pop those into your oral vocabulary.
Just store it away for next week.
And the week after.
And the one
probably
forever
after that.
till we get bored of this one and do season 3.
We're going to make a big effort.
Yeah.
We haven't now, but we're going to make a big effort to be maybe slightly more sincere and indeed slightly more succinct. You didn't run that past me. No, but I could see it in your eyes.
Okay, that's fun. I'll try.
going forwards, at least in these little intro bits, I think.
Now, we brainstormed for hours.
We did.
We were sat there on the floor throwing the like prison ball against the wall, almost literally at some points. And we were like, what is the show that we've made that started all those years ago in the living room of my parents' house at about 3 a.m. When we just turned the mics on, and then the show truly was nothing, and now still is. So we thought if we could retroactively like retcon in a theme for it.
Well, it has been about things.
It has sort of, but not by design, just by virtue of stuff that we talk about and are interested
in. And it didn't ever, nothing stuck.
Yeah.
Like it did then fade out of that.
Yeah.
For a very long time, it was about the car.
Oh God, what a saga.
For a very long time, it was about the flat earth or the fat earth.
And in some ways it still is.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't
want
to.
What we've come up with is a sort of remit, and then jutting off from that, like the branches of a beautiful spherical tree, are a set of kind of formats that we will dip in and out of in a way that you're going to come to love.
I was really hoping you weren't going to go ahead and name all these, but
sure am.
I can see you've got your little notes up, and you're going to forge ahead.
But before we get to that, why don't we say, Declan, by we I mean you, just encapsulate for us this poetic and beautiful remit, where it turns out that actually, although the show may have had the impression of being just nonsense, whatever we were thinking about, it's actually very political and good.
I see, yeah.
And we've contributed to the world a lot.
Now,
how does that work again?
Well, what it was, we came up with a bunch of different allegories, and we were trying to mold them to sort of bend and fold, got our smithing tools out.
Yeah.
Hypothetical smithing tools.
Yeah, because we don't own any.
Nothing.
And it does say in our contract for the flat, no
smithing
They're
at
big
all.
on
No smithing, no political gatherings, no music.
No kiln.
No music after midnight. So far, we've only broken 2 out of the 3. So we kind of settled on this idea of the sinking ship, this Titanic-esque idea of capitalism and how it's hit the big rock that is itself, and it's
that no one saw coming. May I say?
No, well,
because
nobody
it's
could.
A big surprise to all of us.
And a lot of people have done that thing where they've suddenly they're like, oh, I was never actually on board with this. Yeah. They've kind of distanced themselves from the ship and the rock.
We know.
And that ship is sinking and it's going down, and there are no lifeboats.
Not one.
No, because they were
taken
privately contracted,
by Jeff
but
Bezos,
they didn't. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it was cheaper to make them out of candy floss, and as the ship went down, they just dissolved into a big sugary hell, and all the fish died.
Fun to drink though. That's what Reapercheap does in the Narnia books. He loves to drink the sweet, sweet sea. Remember that?
Nope.
Moving on.
So we thought, as this ship was going down, if this were real life and we were on a sinking ship, what would we be doing? Because
we're not screaming.
No, we said we wouldn't.
Oh,
you said you weren't gonna.
No. Go on. What would we do?
Because you've embarrassed me now.
No. You can be screaming as well if you want.
Well, I'm not going to. No, because the idea was that we were both that neither of us was screaming. That actually we're made of sterner stuff.
So we're like dabbing.
We're dabbing a bit, but we're kind of like dabbing on all the dumb shit that's happening.
I see, yeah.
We're like, look at
the old couple who are hugging on the bed in Titanic.
And we're like,
you're gonna drown.
Losers. It's like, the paintings on the wall.
Yeah,
they're a bit shit.
Gauche.
There's a
that food badly
there's a
seasoned.
picture over there of a boat that's not sinking. That's
sound really
ironic.
cool.
Yeah, so we'd be pointing out all of and the idea was
a wet Tatler and Waldorf.
Tatler and Waldorf.
What are they supposed to be called?
Stadler and Waldorf.
I was thinking of Tatler magazine.
Yeah. So he's just a snitch.
He's just a beautiful
Gossip
fashion model.
So the idea was that this image would translate to the sort of podcast, as in the world is dying and crumbling. And
let me just spell out: the world was the ship, and sinking was it. Not literally sinking, because no it's not.
That is, our orbit this is metaphor. Yeah,
our orbit is weakening as time goes on. But we were saying that something about society was off.
Society downhill. Has been a big part of the show, I think, always, given that we live in one.
Irrefutably.
And we thought that it would translate to the world is sinking / crumbling, and that there's lots of people out there who are doing some real hardcore analysis of how and why this is.
Precise economics that contribute to our terrible, terrible hellscape world.
And the way in which kind of like corporations and governments intertwine and how this is a system that fundamentally will just implode on itself in its quest for exponential and inevitable growth. We don't know a lot about that.
Yeah, and you know, so it's not our place to step on the toes.
No.
So when Dex says we don't know, I mean, you know,
we know,
we know, but it's more a question of like,
I didn't want to
their
show
thing. We don't want to. Yeah.
So what we have been doing, and that's crucial because we have been doing.
So just everyone get ready to do one of your big resets where we're like, okay, actually it was always like this.
Yeah. What we have been doing is we've just been focusing on the smaller neuroses that have been caused by this
cultural
larger problem.
Artifacts of a decaying, dying, fetid, rotting world. How
we had a kind of this image of like, you've been distracted by a little plastic bag just as a building's being demolished kind of idea. Like we're just looking at all the mad tiny stuff on the side.
Those crazy bags.
Yeah.
Look how they float. What are they like?
But beautiful.
Really hot.
So that was what we thought. But then, and it probably hasn't come across because I think we've explained it well, but it did end up being too much for any bio.
It's very nebulous.
And there were just too many images.
We were trying to cram them all into one like Twitterable bio, and it does not work.
You know, some people would have been deterred by that and presumed that it's therefore a bad allegory or it's a metaphor that doesn't work. I don't think that's the case.
It works too well.
It works so well that the allegory, like the Borgia's map, has just become the thing. Like it's so good.
It's become the terrain.
So that just to sum up, that is what you have been listening to for 180 odd episodes, and that is something that is going to just become even more, as you say, ball-splittingly laser focused.
And like, obviously, now that you're thinking about it, probably some people will be scratching their head and being like, I guess I didn't ever pick up on that. But that's your fault, probably, isn't it? Like, because we've been putting out a lot of signals, and if you've not been picking up on those in a way,
I don't think we want to lay. I don't want to blame.
No, it's not a blame. Some people just are a bit.
You've
slow
got
on
busy
the
lives as well.
Like, this is a show about this very cool thing,
and possibly, you know, and we have had some feedback. Well, I know I have.
Go on.
Maybe you have too. About like possibly just distracted by how hot we sound.
That is a problem. It's the accents, I think, but it's also just the charisma and confidence in our voices.
Exactly.
And it's all in the teeth for us, I think. That's where the love starts.
Was something that it got dropped from the bio at the last minute, but
the emoji
it was there for a while.
Maybe sneaking back in. All of this is to say that, yes, focused is the big way forward. It's the great march into the new oblivion that is TAS 2.0. And with that comes a reimagining, a reinventing of some of the classic things we've already been doing, but now they've got names.
I really had hoped that
you'd
helped you forget that. Okay. No, go on. No, here we go. So
Declan came up with some
I didn't
cool
come up
names.
with any of these.
Because what would be nice to do is, of a week, this bit will be a lot shorter.
Just one of the things for season 2 is that Isaac has committed, he's pledged to stop blaming me for as many of his audio crimes. And I think that's something the listenership are going to be pleased to see, because it is cowardice on his part not to.
Well, it's never
hold his
happened
hand
so
up.
far, and it won't happen moving forwards, because I share praise where praise is
Show us what you've written.
Magnanimous, many say. What we've got here is a thing in which we'll be chatting, and then you're going to hear something. One of them's coming up quite soon. We don't know what it is yet. It might be the sound.
No, we do. We
bum,
know what,
bum. Oh no,
we know what it is. We have decided. It's just.
It's not that
It would be
that to
fruitless to tell you now.
It'll be a really cool sound. After which you'll hear something like, "It's Imagiporium time," or something even cooler than that. Whereafter we'll be visiting the imagination space.
Well, we'll be visiting the Imagiporium, I suppose, will probably be the branding.
I didn't want to just rehash that whole thing though, because the good thing about the Imagiporium brand is that it carries itself. It's taken on a life of its own. Most shows are doing a segment.
Really?
I tuned into Infinite Monkey Cage.
Yeah.
That one about maybe maths. I've never listened to it.
Brian
Robin Ince.
Cox. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were doing Imagiporium. I didn't see how it went for them, but probably not as well as it would do on our show. And yeah, that could be one of them. What are some of the other types of show that we have?
Well, we do like to do a deep dive.
Yeah. Give us an example from history.
Oh, I can't. No,
Sex dolls.
no, I was doing a
A bit.
Yeah.
Well, there won't be any of those moving forwards.
It is a bitless show now. Yeah, so we did one on sex dolls. All the content we did on the flat Earth. That was a big
hella
deep dive.
dive.
That was weeks of deep dive. We've got the certificates to prove it as well. Where we kind of take a little community or a particular
phenomena.
Yeah, and we're just gonna explore the various ways in which it has sadly and tragically made its way into public life.
We once did a very good episode on gang stalking twice. That no one has heard, and I have no idea what happened to it.
Well, you've been gang stalked, and they deleted it, didn't they?
That must be it. I think it must be. So the deep dive, the Imagiporium, that would be for fun and games in the imagination space.
Yeah.
Cups, that's an Imagiporium feature.
There's going to be like just regular shows.
Yeah, and what would you say is the format of a regular show?
Well, it's like the deep dive,
Yeah.
but it's just a sort of shallow skim. It's more like that rock across the surface where we take something that we found or read about or heard about, something somebody whispered to us or popped in the post.
Or you saw on like the floor at the bus stop.
Yeah, or just anywhere on the floor, basically.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for content.
I've wondered what you were doing, skulking around on God's own carpet.
So where we'll just take a little look at something, use it as a springboard.
But I guess the point is that thing now is going to be more purely defined as being one of these cool ship sinking things.
Yeah.
Like, so we might be talking about, cum, but it won't just be
I don't
about
think
that.
we will.
Well, no, because it would be like in the context of Sex in Fiction awards, which is in the context of the cultural decay that's caused by the woke left.
And they are doing that, aren't they?
They won't stop. They won't stop writing.
I saw some of them doing it today.
Go on.
No, that was just
Twitter.
it. I just saw them. They were just
be careful.
They were disrespecting our cultural institutions.
I saw one of them kiss one of our flags, but not in the right way.
They were taking down some of our historical icons.
No,
Just anything.
Leave it out.
Anything and everything that makes this country and indeed this civilization great.
God, makes you purely angry, doesn't it?
It does.
But that'll be the kind of vibe. So there's going to be the deep dive, the Imagiporium, the regular show, which is now, we guarantee, going to have some content external to us just banging on. This episode, so far notwithstanding, but there is something coming up.
There is.
And it's in the normal one. It's in the category normal. We won't be announcing when it's a normal show. It'll just be normal.
It's just going to happen.
If it's an abnormal show, we will be flagging that up big. We'll be like, Imagiporium. Or what's the last category there?
Well, no, I can't see anything.
Anecdotes. Now, this is one that we just threw back and forth. You know those moments when Crick and Watson, they'd catch each other's eyes across the big centrifuge in the lab, and they'd say, "You thinking what I'm thinking, Cricky?" And he'd say,
They said
"Think
in
I
Cambridge."
am, Watson. Think I got an idea about it." And they both looked at each other, and it was then. And there was a woman there who history and indeed I have written out of the narrative through forgetting. And I do apologise. Maybe you'll look it up and tweet about it afterwards, Declan.
Okay, yeah, sure. Sorry, I'd just like to interrupt. Isaac's right to use a kind of almost filmic way to describe this, but I should butt in here to say
you
that
kind of derailed my
That's
description.
okay. That is kind of the point.
The end was that they came up with it together in synchronicity like Jung.
And that's why I'm coming in here, is because that's how Isaac saw this happening.
Yeah.
But actually, in the movie, there would be a scene a little bit later where my character's just like, "But no, Crick."
Mr. Crick.
No, Mr. Crick. I wasn't there that day. And then it flashes back, and it's Isaac just throwing glances across the room to no one. He's like chucking the ball over the centrifuge, then running around and catching it himself.
Yeah.
Because
I'm so fast.
Was not at all involved in the creation of this word.
What was the word?
I can't say it.
Anecdotes.
Right.
This is where sometimes you just got to tell an anecdote, don't you? And if we have to explain why that's a good joke.
And what is it?
It's an anecdote, but boy, it's smart as a whip.
Oh.
It was Rosalind Franklin, Declan. You should have known that. You call yourself a teacher. Make me sick. So, should we crack on? That's the big changes. We're going to have some social media stuff. Follow the new account at Shame City Gang, but we're going to plug that a bunch at the end. Format is going to be a bit of chat, some sort of jingle that I'll be honest, we haven't decided on yet. That bit before, that was a big funny line. That's comedy though, isn't it?
Those are staying.
Then, main show, then social stuff, then it's over and you can carry on with your lives and week.
Or listen to the next one.
Or listen to all of them starting back from episode 1.
And you'll see how that ship's been sinking
Yeah.
all along.
Many beasts on the big bad flag.
It's an anecdote.
It's not an anecdote.
Oh.
You just it's the first one.
That
and
was
you
an example of how it could go.
Yeah, it could go. And can I just say,
Yeah.
what a good noise that was.
I loved the noise.
It was good.
It was what I liked about it was how easy it was for us to find and or make.
Yeah.
And how easy it was for me to edit into the episode.
And how well it worked.
It captured that build and then gave the bathos of when I just said it's an anecdote, which is what today's one is.
It's not.
Which it's not, sorry.
But it could be.
It really it was a comedy beat. You're welcome.
I've got a story about flag. That's
You've
what
written?
it is. No, I haven't written it. No, when I say story, I mean like a news article
Okay, a piece of reportage.
about a flag. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the headline.
Yep.
That's the sort of formality that you can expect going
Will we
forward.
get to know the outlet?
You
that's
will.
carrying
It's
the story?
from thehill.com.
Okay. Capitol Hill.
And the headline
They don't
is
fuck around.
Mississippi blames, quote, typo for including huge mosquito among new state flag designs.
What were they trying to type? Okay, I'm tickled and I'm intrigued.
Now, there's a couple things here. Number one,
Yeah,
the protagonist of this story, I like him.
it's American.
And I think we should maybe try and get him on
Okay,
because he's got a really powerful energy that I think we'll vibe with.
we should harness.
Number two, it's just a fun story. Number three,
Yeah,
The Hill, I mean, it says this was written by somebody called Brooke Seipel. I do
Shout
believe it was written by a robot. Either that or Brooke had to look up in a dictionary all of the words that are anything to do with the internet because
Okay.
it reads like somebody who has just never heard of computers
never explored
before.
the
No,
digiweb.
and like has been told a really specific set of like cues that they have to hit. So a viral design being proposed as the new state flag for Mississippi originated as a joke and was only included in a list of finalists due to a typo, according to officials. So the background is that the Mississippi Department of Archives and History, the MDAH,
MDAH. Love their work.
is currently narrowing down options to replace its current flag after lawmakers voted to remove the Confederate
racist?
battle flag
Yes, okay.
from its current version.
That was the fucking, even today, the flag. Those even now, assuming this has not
Yep.
been changed yet.
Nope.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are there other states for which that's the case? Almost certainly.
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Probably most of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even the northern
I can't
ones.
claim that I'm up on all the state flags, but knowing if I know America,
Yeah.
and I think I do,
They love a bit of iconographic racism.
not get enough.
And just normal racism too.
They, in all its glory. So the EMDA, they recently revealed its finalists after accepting over 1,000 submissions.
This is a very bad way of going about anything, isn't it? Because it's this kind of crowdsourcing approach that led to Justin Bieber
Well, now wait there.
Okay.
Because
being sent to
Brooks
Korea.
got a better
analysis.
yeah, exactly.
That's fair. I'm not paid by the
They've
Hill.
got a better example here.
Go for it.
Now, this is the sentence that I think gives away that Brooke has never seen a
A
computer
stranger
mouse.
to the net.
In an internet age situation, reminiscent
That's already so weird. An internet age situation. That sounds like a choose your own adventure from the 70s.
reminiscent of the Boaty McBoatface naming.
Very weird passive voice.
It was something that just happened organically,
Yeah, it did
sprung
itself.
from the earth. One of the finalists that quickly drew viral attention and support was a joke flag that features a giant mosquito at the centre. Now, obviously, this is an audio format.
Yeah.
The listener
I'm
can't
gonna paint a
see,
picture with
but
word.
I'm just going to show you what it was.
It's just a big mosquito in some stars.
Yeah, it's very good.
Do we know what the stars represent? The
No, not
different
yet.
victims of the mosquito's angry pincers. Not pincers.
So here's why I like it. So Mississippi resident Thomas Reset told the Clarion Ledger that he designed and submitted the mosquito flag as a joke on a co-worker who didn't want the flag changed. So already, that's heroic.
There's a real, he's kind of glossing over some of the details there, though.
Well, so I think he just wanted to submit something to piss off his
That's a
co-worker
very
because they were
specific thing
racist.
to go for, though.
Rosette, well, here we go.
Okay.
Works as a deckhand on the Yazoo River and said he's familiar with the state's large mosquito population. Makes it sound like he knows them personally.
I'm surprised that
On
deckhand is the
first-name terms.
pronunciation of that boat word, because they're always like dumb pronunciations of boat things.
Well, how would you like me to say it?
Degand.
Well, I'm not going to say that. And he thought that they were fitting to represent the state.
Are there lots of them, I assume?
Loads.
It's warm,
Cannot get enough.
sort of damp.
I believe people from all backgrounds can get behind this and raise it proudly, Rosette told the Clarion Ledger. Now, this is the sentence where I really got behind Thomas, because this is an energy that we definitely embody. I said something like that in the submission email, and now I actually do believe that.
Oh, that's good. That's a nice metaphor for what
There's
we're doing with
there's
the
a really like filmic image in my head of him kind of sending that in as a joke, and then later that day just seeing the mosquitoes and then like
save
looking up
those
to the
guys.
sky. And
beautiful.
he
A
like
single
looks up
tear.
and he can see the Confederate flag flying and it flaps in the way of the sun so that it's obscured, and then when it comes back into focus it's just this big mosquito.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Maybe one of them landed on the Lincoln Memorial or something as he was watching.
Oh yeah.
Like right on his tear duct, and it sort of scuttled inside because it's anatomically correct. So you can get into the tear duct of the Lincoln.
Is
End.
it?
You can climb right inside it if you're small enough.
That isn't explored enough in movies for how often he appears.
Yeah, well, that's true of all statues that have an orifice. They're always something you could clamber into if you were like Osmosis Jones'd.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Fun
this
fact.
is people say this isn't an educational show.
Yeah, edutainment.
The Associated Press reported that many rallied around the flag online, saying that
Big energy from the word online.
saying that what started as mocking support was no longer ironic, and they really liked the flag.
It is really good.
Personally, I love the mosquito flag. The cheekiness of it is on brand, one Mississippi resident tweeted.
I think Mississippi and I do think cheeky straight away. I think it's cheeky that they held on
What
to
a bunch
that
of
bigotry
cards.
for so long.
Oh, you guys with your
they're not.
your little racist
Well, they're
flag,
not.
you can't put it on your cards.
It's cheeky.
It
Plain and
is.
simple.
I'm slowly realising my love for the mosquito flag might not even be ironic, another said. It's so bad it's good. I would proudly fly the mosquito. Which is just an amazing. They've already
mosquito.
embraced it. It's already like been named like it's some sort of fighter jet.
That
like
exists
it's just
outside of them.
it's amazing. Like, I think it's testament to America's ability to like absorb anything into their hugely militarized and patriotic view of themselves, that like if you give them any symbol, they'll be like,
2
sure.
minutes later, if you burn it, you get put in Guantanamo Bay for 100 years.
Hence why they like make this big shenanigans over like throwing their Keurig coffee machines out the window or something, as if it's like the burning of books.
It's a good bit of tokenism.
But dreams were dashed on Tuesday when the MDA clarified that the flag was not meant to be a finalist.
Fuck.
The mosquito flag advanced to round 2 due to a typo in a list of flag numbers submitted by one commissioner, the agency said. It had to be removed.
It didn't have to be removed. That's just red tape.
The statement was met with disappointment. One Mississippi journalist tweeted, "Fly high, mosquito flag."
God bless you, ma'am.
While another resident wrote on Twitter that, quote, "The mosquito flag is destined to be in that round."
Well, it's not. What a claim.
So
you're saying we have to get behind this campaign?
well, I'm thinking that I don't like flags as they are. I think
all
that
boring and
they
bad,
are,
aren't they?
and I think that we should be pushing. Like, we don't have as big a thing with having different flags here.
Yeah.
We've got like county coats of arms,
Do we?
but
Never
yeah,
seen one in
exactly.
my life.
Nobody knows. Essex is the like red shield with like 3 white swords
I've
on
sort
it.
of, if I see the shape of a coat of arms, my brain just like doesn't.
Instantly
I
shuts
just don't bother because they're always. It's the dumbest shit. It'll be like 8 raccoons spitting on the corpse of yesterday's deer. or
Yes,
something.
Kent.
It's like, there it is. That's Slough, which is not, I don't think, a county, but it's always really stupid,
But
they just look bad. I think.
I think that I could get far more on board if they were more in the vein of the mosquito flag.
Yeah, a simpler, a bolder design for a bolder age.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe we get them for like maybe the different tube lines they can each
That'd
have
be
one.
quite cool.
Because currently they've got their different colours, but I still don't think of that as an identity. Whereas if we had the Northern Line and it's just a big tube mouse,
a dusty
that,
one.
Obviously a dusty
because that's
tube
true.
mouse.
The Northern Line is the home of the tube mouse.
Yeah, and-
Non-Londoners won't know that. That's just a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
If you want to see a tube mouse when you're in London, don't hit up the zoo. Silly.
Don't hit up the zoo. Don't go on the Central Line.
Victoria.
People will think.
Don't bother. If you're peering over the edge of the Victoria Line, they think you're just any of the other bankers commuting from the city and wandering about calling it a day. But on the Northern Line, if you go to the edge, then the people will be looking. They go, "He's gonna find me," and then you get out your little tube mouse pipe.
Oh, you do what?
And they all come running.
They like the
beautifully.
Thunderbirds music, do they?
Is that what that is? Don't know why that was in my head. But yeah, that's the line. So tube mouse for the Northern Line for sure. The DLR, that could be... the DLR's a bit corporate, to be honest. So I think maybe we just have a picture of like a Chad. Like a cool Chad.
Oh, I like that.
He could be like just chadding it up. Maybe he's like flexing one gun.
Maybe.
And maybe he's kissing it too.
Okay.
And maybe there's a bit of dribble, like it's a bit of a wet kiss.
Right.
Because the DLR's like, feel yourself.
You've
DLR.
got a really strong sense of the DLR as this kind
I
of
love the DLR.
like Patrick Bateman-esque figure.
I do see it like that because it thinks it's better than
pointing in the
is.
mirror while he's fucking someone.
Yeah.
I think maybe the Central Line should just be. I'm not an artist. I'm just the ideas guy. But I think that the picture should encapsulate somehow just the concept of sweat, because that is what I think of when I
It could
think
be a
of the
scratch and
Central
sniff flag, which has not been done to my knowledge, and the UN is ready to recognise officially. Because there's one country, is it Nepal, that has not got a four-sided flag? It's like
it's a
two
little-
triangles.
yeah.
It's like half a Christmas tree. That's why I call it two triangles. So clearly there is the scope. Like, that blew my mind when I found out that you can choose not to have a really boring flag.
Yeah.
Like, you can have any shape, it would seem. Unless there's some weird exception that Nepal has that they're not sharing with the rest of us. In which case,
Let's get
I
over
can
there.
see a great big vote happening. But yeah, like the sheer lack of imagination in the rest of the flagosphere, it saddens me to my deepest core.
No, you're a guy you're from a lot of places.
I sure am.
You've got heritage up the wazoo.
It's everywhere.
can't move
It's
for it.
spewing out of me even now.
So I'm just thinking, like, let's take some of them.
Uh-huh.
Let's say France. Now they've got a flag.
Yeah. It's
The
a bit
tricolor.
boring, isn't it? Yeah. It's a little bit dull. It's also in the category of like lots of them look a bit like
Easily
that, don't they?
confused with anywhere else.
I think a flag, and this might be a hot take, so tell me if we
Okay.
need to edit this out. But
Okay.
I think if a flag should be so identifiable that if you're wearing old school 3D glasses, or if you're looking at it through cellophane or tinted glass, you can still tell what it is. And that's not true of the majority of flags.
That
these
is a
days.
hot flag. That is
Because
a hot flag. It's a hot take
Sometimes,
on flags.
sometimes you've got your sunglasses on, and mine don't have a great deal of tint, but just peek through that. It'll change your colour sphere in a big way.
Bloody hell. How am I supposed to tell apart Ireland and the Côte d'Ivoire looking through these
It's not
bastards?
possible. It's simply not. And so I think, in that sense, we should go for a much more like immediately iconic, recognisable approach that maybe includes, some visual elements, sure, but multimedia. Like some of them can have water spewing out of them. Like in Disney World, the Aladdin's carpet ride, there's a camel that spits.
Hang on, whoa. Hang on.
We'll have that for the UK.
Did you just propose a 4D flag?
Oh, I think I did.
This technology,
I might
we
have
thought it had reached its limits by
In Thorpe Park,
in Angry Birds Land,
where it just dribbles on you at random.
or the Honey I Shrunk the Kids experience,
which is very good.
But it turns out that it's got a use in just
Building up
straight up
nations.
jingoism.
Yeah, for sure. So that's something for you guys to consider, maybe.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but patriotism, it's old hat these days, isn't it?
It's coming
People
back, though. Did you read?
Is that because of the flags?
Well, no, it's because of Mr. Starmer's good work. He's bringing us a new patriotism where we're finally...
Go on.
Oh, thank God. Right? We're finally allowed to be proud to be England.
Oh,
Sorry?
you're not.
I'm not saying that I am.
You're not
I'm
saying
that-
you're English, are you?
No. Well, I'm
Okay.
not. You know me. I'm a real hodgepodge.
Yeah.
A melting pot, if you will. But yeah, it's coming back, and I think we should probably be at the forefront of that. So yeah, maybe it's time to reclaim the flag.
Is he going on the flag then? Does because he
going on about it.
Oh, because maybe that's what he's angling for. Maybe that's why he's banging on about the flags,
right?
Because he wants his face on it.
No,
he wants to be part of it.
He's not a narcissist like that.
That's good to know.
He's an everyman. He's a man of the people, and I think what he would want probably is a flag that's, you know, the end of the storybook about like all the predators in the world.
Yeah.
And you're like, the lion fucks up a lot of sheep in the desert. All of that's true. The monkey can punch a man to death. I just learnt yesterday that there's a type of cat, and it's real, that jumps out of a tree and bites through a gorilla's skull in one crunch. But then you turn the final page and it says, you know what? You know who's the real dickhead? And it's just a mirror. Because you are the evil. So a flag that's just a mirror that forces us to come to terms with
our
own sense of national identity and really interrogate it. I think that's going to be something that can unite. And this is, you know, me, I'm a unity candidate, right? I think we got to reach out to these guys, and we got to reach out to those guys, and we got to say, you're all looking at yourselves. You're all
visible
flag.
In this mirror.
And if that won't solve anything, then I'm out of ideas.
It's weird because at the beginning of this feature, I do hesitate to call it a feature.
It was a feature.
Okay.
In the new terminology of the show, this is as feature-like as it is.
Whatever happened, it was
no Imagiporium.
If we do it, it is a feature.
Yeah. It's a good definition.
So I was thinking that old Thomas Rosette.
Yeah.
I thought he was a visionary.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking
I've blown him out the water.
He's just another fucking bootlicking mosquito making.
We've all done that, Rossetti.
It's unbelievable. And when really he was working within such strict parameters. Yeah. He's really been spoon-fed by the man.
But look, I'll give him his dues. He thought not quite outside the box, but he was definitely angling towards a little secret exit that most people haven't even realised was existing in the box. It's just that, yeah, sure. We're another few layers beyond that. And I think it's that kind of really liberated objectivity that people come to the show for that we should use to redefine vexillology from here on out.
Cool.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It was a hell of a show, wasn't it?
Good.
That's high
a good
five.
Show.
That's the sound of TAS 2.0.
Of solidarity.
And before we leave you, probably relishing, you'll be rolling around the ground, frothing at the gams about what a triumph of the audio medium this episode was. But before we call it quits on this big show, we've got some stuff to remind you of, some stuff to plug, some people to mention as well and to shout out.
We do.
Why don't we start, Declan, by you just really hammering home how sad it is that we don't have a Twitter account.
Yeah, so we did have one.
Yeah.
We did have a Twitter account. It was nice. We made it during our first ever episode.
Oh, fuck, I'd forgotten about that aspect, which makes it even sadder that they just randomly banned it.
At That's a Shamecast.
Don't bother going there.
No, well, it will tell you it doesn't exist.
Jack Dorsey himself.
He just
spat it out of the world.
He just pissed all over it.
Like
and it's just
deleted.
Out
a flame.
He found the little server that held our account.
And he fucked it
just
to death.
Dribbled all over it until we were gone.
Despicable, that man.
So we've got a new one. Now it's only about 920 followers shy of where we were.
And I happen to know that with some authority, because we've got, let me just log into the live stats.
Yeah.
Don't ask how this works while we're recording it, because I've edited this bit in live. We've got 920 people listening now.
Oh.
Right now. So if every one of you guys out there just went over to @ShameCityGang on Twitter.com and click the follow, we'd be back up in fun time.
That would be good. I would like to just clarify. I know that you were doing it as a kind of pronunciation. It is just Shame City Gang.
City Gang. I have a hard G at the end.
No,
I was pulled
wouldn't.
up on it before in my life.
I wouldn't do that.
It's too late to change.
It's not.
Singing.
You're making a choice. You're making a choice there.
I think you're doing classism.
No.
I think you might be attacking me because of my northern heritage.
Oh, is it northern that you are now? I thought it was
I'm from
French.
I'm from
French,
Birkenhead,
Dublin.
So no, nothing
London.
to do with that.
Anyway.
Do follow us, won't you?
Yeah, it would be nice.
And we've got Insta.
We've been doing some tweets.
Yeah, they're quite good ones too.
Yeah. we're going to be tweeting out some more of those very fun audiograms.
Really good audiograms.
Um,
And we've got an Instagram story. You'd love to see.
you'd love to see it.
You'd love to have a look.
That's Shame City Gang as well. But that time you type it in on Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't type that in on Twitter again.
And click
you'll
follow again because that will
unfollow and then you're just defeating yourself.
Yeah,
more than anything.
you've played yourself, to be frank.
I have a good feeling that this Twitter account is going to be much better than our old one.
I think so, because the problem with the old one is, first of all, most of the people that followed us and we followed were other podcasts. And let's put this out there, we don't like any of them.
No.
Now, some of them we do, I take that back. But the majority of them, if you're a podcast, our stance is probably furious ambivalence at best. Because, there's a lot of these things when you're just starting out in the pod sphere where they're like, come on, guys, follow each other, prop each other up, and it's pointless, isn't it?
I had to do a super boomer post on Facebook. I used one of those colourful backgrounds that they love to misunderstand.
That's a shame.
Like
when they do the one that's crying laughter about a funeral.
Yeah, it's like 1 year ago today. We miss you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Lol.
Aunt Johnny. Love her.
So yeah, I have a feeling that this one we're going to get a real following. We've already got some top quality followers.
We've got some of the movers and shakers that make Twitter the best place to be in some senses.
We have indeed.
And we're happy to have you all.
And that includes us. I want to throw that out there. We shouldn't be afraid.
Yeah, to big ourselves up.
No.
To huff from our own stash.
So yeah, go over there and follow.
Yeah.
If you follow, here's the thing.
Go on.
When this comes into your podcast feed and you just click on it and listen, you get the cool dog, right? You get that art.
That's for free.
What you don't know is that every single week, Isaac spends 4 days slaving away at the monitor.
In the altered state, mostly.
Photoshopping together some of the most grotesque series of images that you have ever had the misfortune to lay your eyes upon.
It's a real puzzle.
Each of them so spuriously linked to the content of the episode as to be objectively random.
And they're not. All of them contain a clue as well. So if you've pieced it together,
they don't contain a clue.
Over 180
they don't
episodes,
contain a clue.
Then get back.
Some of them include a sort of invisible ghost, I think.
There's about 20.
It's a fun game. What we realised, and maybe this is something we should think about for Series 2.
Go on.
This is some brainstorming live on air.
Okay, well, there's no bad ideas.
Is that looking back through the show, trying to kind of like piece together the strengths and weaknesses, trying to find clips for the audiogram. What I have found is that the titles and the descriptions titles, they do give nothing away. It is next to impossible to know what on earth is contained within. Yeah. And given that a lot of the episodes don't contain very much content at all, it's very hard to remember what correlates to what. So I'm not saying that we go so far as Friends and we name the episode like the one with the bit about the mosquito flag and a lot of chat.
Change the title scheme to this that you're reading now. That would be quite cool.
That's better, yeah. Maybe that is what we call this one.
Post structure.
Just pop that in the little...
Well, I won't.
Okay.
Imagine I did, though.
Okay, yeah, we'll do. So something like that maybe just to help us a little bit and to help
don't know how I feel about
the dear listener.
Yeah, look, we don't want to lose the TAS flavour, right? Because people... They're chomping at the bit for it, to use your favourite expression, correctly stated. Yeah,
I don't like
because you know the new version of us. We're corporate guys now, right? We've sold out to Big Pod.
We've got to be.
We've in this workaday world. Yeah, sure. We've started season 2. We're very focused now. We're like the dick laser, but can we give up that final? Isn't the titling our mosquito flag? At the end of the day.
I mean, I wouldn't want to say, certainly on air, that it is, because that feels a bit sad. Oh, it is?
It sure is.
Okay, titles will remain the same.
They'll remain just as descriptive.
What's next?
Well, I'd love to thank some people, because it's been a hell of a long time since we did. First of all, the Lord, like that goes without saying. Peace upon all who hear his mighty name. Next, we'd like to thank 2 new patrons. Now, it's no secret that we hemorrhaged patrons during our 4-month absence. And the only thing that surprises me really is that we didn't do so sooner. We've apologised in a big way to them. If you haven't seen our apology, it's grovelling. And I wrote it with real sincerity and a tear in my eye.
And we did a good thing where we did a big refund of everyone's Patreon.
We did. We're not holding your
and it actually cost Isaac money. So.
It sure did. It also cost me the lengthy process of my bank thinking that I was defrauding myself and having to go through several hoops to prove that indeed I was allowed to give that money away.
That's like the time that I got sent some money by my dad and the co-op shut down my account
Okay.
on suspect of fraud.
Right.
And when I rang them up, like they put me on hold for ages while I presume they tried to brainstorm a way to say this. That wasn't. It's just suspicious to see money going in. but when they came back, that was the long and the short of it. It's there's a lot in one column, and it was just rare to see a value of this amount in the opposite column, and we just wanted to make sure that everything was okay.
But yeah, over at patreon.com/ShameCity, big changes are coming. In fact, some of them have been enacted already, but we're not properly going to announce them until next week, so feel free to go and check them out.
Yeah, there's some big Patreon news coming.
Including primarily it's to do with the bonus content. And look, spoiler, we're going to be doing a bonus episode every week. I know! But we'd like to thank 2 new patrons. One a returning patron, I think. Our good pal Alex. Shout out. Do a shout out.
Alex!
Yeah. Do a dab as well if you want.
I'll go. Yep.
He did. No, he actually did do a dab. He nearly took out my monitor. And the other one is a brand new patron. Friend of us from the real life and now of the show. It's Tim. Shout out to Tim. Do a shout out. Tim! Boo, 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 boo. Yeah, we really appreciate your support, everyone. Thank you so much for that. In the same vein, a form of support that we appreciate, I won't say just as much because it doesn't actually benefit us financially, but neither really does Patreon because it mostly just covers the cost of itself at the moment. Yeah. And not even close to doing that. But I shan't moan on air. We've had some reviews. Now, I've kind of forgot the reviews are even a thing that you could get.
Yeah, we forgot to ask.
And the main reason I forgot is because there used to be a service we had that would send us all our new reviews and it fell off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
So I'd realised like a year had passed and I'd never checked. To be frank, not many happened in that year, but 3 did, and here they are. First of all, only 12 days ago from our good pal Mama Labs, a super amazing podcast with the best host, singular. Highly, highly recommended. That's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Mama Labs.
It was 5 stars. We also had from the 5th of the 5th, 2020, that's a great date, 5 stars was the name of the review and the amount of stars, 2 screwed millennials carrying on. And we love that as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a value judgment.
It's to the point.
It's to the point. And then this really lovely one from Flowers for Alderaan, which is an episode 1 cut. Like that was something.
That is a joke from episode 1.
Yeah, really.
The
powerful.
pilot.
Good is the rather brusque heading of the review. I've loved this show for years, although not enough to ever bother to review, email, or otherwise engage with it. Sorry about that. That's a vibe.
That's good.
Our vibe
That's
specifically.
big.
In these times of racism, transphobia, and zoonotic viruses, Isaac, the spelling's fine, and Declan, a testament to the fact that it is possible to be really mean about people without punching down, providing guilt-free laughs and occasional sharp social commentary. And I'll take occasional.
That's all we've ever really wanted to be known for.
I really like that review.
That is a very nice review.
Thanks so much to whoever you are, Flowers for Alderaan. You're a real pal. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a review, the review link is in the show notes of every podcast. And I don't really know how that works, but I think you just click it and then you can do a review, that is. Twitter link's there as well. Patreon's there as well. Is that everything? Please say it is.
I think it is,
Thank God for that. Look, growing pains, right? We're going through a big change. It's like when your nasty teeth come in and push the little baby soft ones out of your gums and you leave them under the pillow and you don't get quite what you hoped, to be frank. I, being half French, have taken part, not of my choosing, in the tradition where you keep those little teeth in a mouse box. And instead of a fairy, it's a little mouse that comes and snuffles away your teeth and exchanges them for gold bullion. So I have that box at home, and I have one that says Isaac, and there's one that says Molly, because my mum really jumped the gun and thought I was going to be called Molly. And don't know why she went out and got a mouse box in advance, but she's a baffling
She was just
woman.
ready for those teeth to just come straight
She was so
through.
hyped for those female teeth to come falling out.
To just grow and fall within 7 days.
But yeah, what was I saying? Something about change, the pain of change.
There we go.
When it's wiggling away and you just want to tie a little floss around it and put it on the back of a little mini moto and get your pal Jason to drive it off really fast. Very loud little thing. To rip it out, yes, it can be annoying, it can be painful, but it's a transition period. And I think, and I'm peeking into the future now, you can probably see that I'm going into a sort of tangential altered state.
Season 3?
I can see it's just one episode before we revert the whole thing. No, I was going to say I can see a bright future for that to shape.
Oh, that is good.
And I think what's left of 2020, and indeed what's left of the decade, is going to see us going from strength to God-forsaken strength. And you can take that to the bank. I've been Isaac. You've been.
I've been Declan.
We're still ending the show like this because I'm not coming up with a new way. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.